Hello guys, hey, this is Dale Walker at Holeshot Performance. Well, after 39 years since I started Holeshot, I have decided at 63 years old to try to slow down. Even though we're going to be open still 4 days a week, I'm going to be available a couple days. I always said I wanted to build another bike and go out to the track where I could maybe still do it and just have some fun. So it's happening. I got a little fun video I'm doing here, and I think I'll continue with these. This is basically my haul of shame from at the other end in 1975 all the way through about 2006, when I pretty much stopped racing or riding on the tracks. We'll go over all that another time. Anyway, what happened was back in '89 through '91, I raced, built my own bike, Pro Street Bike, GS, and a buddy of mine was on Craigslist, and this bike pops up that said 1990s 9-inch Pro Mod Suzuki chassis for sale. Well, I got looking at the ad, and it turns out, you know where this is going, it was my old bike that I sold in 1996. Never had an engine put it back in it, never been down the racetrack since I sold it, just in a garage, basically rotting. So this is my '89 Pro Street Suzuki that I built with Sandy Cosman back in the day. I rode Sandy's bike first and went low eights at about 173 or 4, and then I built my own. Anyway, that tire I showed you is an old 10-inch tire. When I quit Pro Street, I went into a 9-inch tire Pro Mod class we had out here on the West Coast, and I ran a 9. This is a 10 Hoosier somebody put on. It's way too big for the rim, and it's just wrong. And it's anyway, it's old and rotted. And this is a little 16-inch weird little front Cosman wheel that was not on the bike when I sold it. I had a 16 on it, but it was a much wider rim. You could run we used to run a Michelin High Sport and then true the tire, so it was very little tread left, and that would bring the speed rating way up and be safe. But it was a much wider rim and more footprint on the ground. But I would never run this little bitty thing. Dangerous when you get on the brakes, it's so small. So anyway, let me show you first, kind of cool. Here's this guy. I don't know who this guy is, some young guy. That's back in the day. That's in Cycle World Studio. I let Don Canet ride the bike. He was the first journalist to get in the 8s on this bike here. And that's what it looked like back then. Yeah, this is my nice little plaque trophy thing. Yeah, 91 drag bike national champion Pro Street. And these are more photos. I hope you can kind of see. I'm not a YouTuber. I just do this stuff to show a few of my parts, and this is just for fun here. But it's a pretty bitchin' piece. The frame conversion, that's what they did back then. Actually, the bike started out as a Kawasaki turbo bike that I built, and then they banned my turbo halfway through a season, and it pissed me off, and so I put a Suzuki in the Kawasaki frames, what I did. It used to have a 18-inch Cosman rear with the small little tube tires used to run. They don't make anymore. So what I did was of course I ordered a new RC component wheel, and I just got that all centered up and the caliper mounted and all that stuff done, and you know, I had to reposition the fender and all that. And I pulled stuff apart that was all corroded and bead blasted. It's not going to be this ugly yellow. It was never this yellow. Somewhere along the line, someone painted the whole thing yellow, including the body, which is based off of 88, 89 GSXR 750. I used to have a little top fairing on it like you saw in the pictures, and luckily AirTech still has a mold, so I had to make me one. So I'm going to make it just like it was when I wrote it back in the day. Other than the paint is going to be either red, white, and blue, or red, white, and silver. I mean, excuse me, silver, blue, and red. I'm not sure. So I just picked up another motor I found down by Sacramento. Gutted the motor, left the tranny in it so I can take it in and out just for mock-up, because a lot of tabs are missing and all this stuff's been changed. So I just bolted the motor in. This is the starter support plate that was on the bike. I have everything pretty much that used to be on the bike, other than mounting tabs are gone and stuff. So anyway, I've just been mounting up my cheater solenoids for the nitrous. I'm just going to run a simple single stage, push a button, or possibly put it on the clutch or throttle, but I want it like that. I'm going to have my original electric shifter, and I'm going to actually foot shift it for now. I'm not going to put my electric shifter solenoid or an air shifter on it all. I foot shifted it back in the day. And this chassis without a bar, with the smaller tire, I went the best at 804, and I actually went a 797 one pass at Bakersfield at 175 on this bike. It has a 15 on it now that I had my 9-inch tire on, so I just bought a lower profile 8.5-inch Mickey Thompson. You see on here. I'm going to run that since I have the wheel, but that way I get the ride height where I want. The ride height. This tire is only about 25.5, 26 inches tall, pretty much like a street bike tire, most of them. So, and it fits good on the bike, and I don't need to spend $1 million. So this is only for fun. So anyway, I'm mocking everything up right now. I have my original Dyna 4000 ignition with the low and upper rev limit adjustment. I have the ignition retard with 2 different retards. I only use one. I've got it basically a Summit Holley copy pump I'm going to run like I used to. Got a couple nice relays mounted in there already to switch some of the components, and a nice junction block to run the hots off of. I'm going to go ahead and run a fuel side pressure safety switch, so if the fuel pressure drops below 4 pounds, it shuts both solenoids off so you don't blow the thing apart, which I have done. Oh, speaking of that's pretty, huh? I found this in a box. This was in Phoenix when it was a Pro Mod bike, and this is the only time I heard a motor out of about, 110 passes other than normal maintenance. Well, what happened, I went 173 on this pass. Happened right at the lights, just a little, and I backed off, and that's all it took. That's the intake side. That's what happens when you have a lean out without an explosion. It's like a cutting torch. Comes right across the back of the piston, and you got to torch it right through. Anyway, NOS was nice enough to misdrill the fuel jet. And, you know, trust me, after that I had little checking drill fixtures and check every single jet. Yeah, it was about 3 thousandths undersize. And so once I got in high gear, it built enough heat, and there it went. So that's about it. I got my pipe I kept. What I did is I sold my Kendall Pro Mod rolling chassis, and I just pulled it all apart, and I got the motor over here on the bench, but I got to mock up everything, and then this thing got a little ways to go. Still, I'm moving the foot pegs a little forward more. They were back always a little too far. I've got to make fairing mount a few more tabs here and there. Nitrous bottle mount. The bottle's going to slide in here at an angle right in here. And just modify a few more things. And then I'll be taking it completely apart to repaint it. And then I can start, you know, doing a reassembly. The motor is the engine I had in the bike when I sold it. I kept, you know, I sold the chassis, I kept everything else. This was in my Kendall bike, but this engine came out of this bike. I've tuned up the head more. This is a 1428. Done a ton of work on the head, and, you know, cut off all the ports and raised the port floors and a lot of epoxy work. And this is about my third go around on the cylinder head. So anyway, this motor has a 5-speed full auto in it, and I'm actually going to split the cases today and pull the tranny out, because I just had a cherry stock trans all set up for me by Paul Gast. I've known Paul for years, and I just send him my trannies. So we put a billet, second and third, heavy duty output shaft, heavy duty bearings. But I'm going to go ahead and run a full kill trans, just in case I get in a wheel stand and have to totally back out of it, because there's no special electronics. This is a Dale's clutch hand, Dale's throttle application, and when I get in the nitrous and how much. So once in a while I get in a little wheeling, got to close the throttle, I don't want to break it. So full kill trans. So anyway, I thought it'd be kind of a neat story and fun to watch, and so this is it. And the name of the bike is Suzuki. Suzuki. It's probably going to be big letters down the tail. It's going to be capital R-A-T and then smaller Suzuki. Should be really cool. So I'm planning on taking another next video. This is just going to be part 1. And then I'll pull the motor down. I'll let you see the transmission I take out and the cases split and stuff. That'll be the next one probably. And I don't know, just think it would be a little fun to this story and see the bike, and then someday you'll see it run with the old dude on it. See if I can still do it. All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.